what these tiers actually mean in the hiring ecosystems.
No classification that has been done by either the UGC, either the AICT, and any other government authorities for this like tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. For me, after COVID, everything has changed.
Colleges which are in tier 2 who are at that par level, right? How do they make sure that they enable their students to stand out during placements?
AI is not going to take your job. AI is going to make more millionaires and billionaires in future. In next 5-6 years, it is going to be happen. Do not try to become a tier 1 college or tier 1 student as well. You become a kind of a person who is not being replaceable in the organization. To be honest, student used to come, sir, ugly company kaun si aa rahi hai?
Okay. Hi everybody, welcome to the episode number 1 of the Employability Playbook by HRFY.ai, a national conversation series where we decode on how hiring is really evolving and what students and institutions must do to stay relevant. Today's conversation is especially important because every year lakhs of capable students from tier 2 and tier 3 colleges compete for the same opportunities, but with limited access, exposure, and brand advantage. So joining us today, we have a very special guest, Professor Pankaj Kumar, a seasoned career leader, a placement officer at Jaypee University of Information and Technology, Vaknagar, with over a decade of hands-on experience working closely with students, recruiters, and institutions. He has been at the forefront of placements, resume strategies, mock interviews, corporate relations, making him the perfect voice to break down today's topic. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you, Sunpreet ji. Thank you so much for this very short and sweet introduction.
Thank you, sir, for joining us. I think let's start this episode 1. I'm really excited for this, and let's start by setting the foundation, right?
Definitely.
Before we talk about competing with tier 1 talent, I think it is very important to understand what these tiers actually mean in the hiring ecosystems. And I think I want to hear from you that how colleges are generally classified as tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 in the Indian placement ecosystems, and what factors truly influence this classification from a recruiter's point of view.
To be honest, I'll say first thing first that there is no classification that has been done by either the UGC, either the AICT, and any other government authorities for this like tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. It is just the perception of the people, and specifically the people who are there in the industry. For me, if you take my point of view, it goes like this: tier 1, IIT, NITs, and triple ITs. Because the perception goes like that, if we go for hiring in those campuses, we'll get good quality students from there. Because these students have done a preparation starting from 10th, 11th, 12th. They have started their race early. And the students who could not cross that particular barrier, then it comes down to tier 2. I consider my institute as a tier 2 college, and there are so many tier 2.1, 2.2. We will later on discuss about it. But tier 2 are those colleges who are providing quality education, infrastructure wise, teaching wise, everything is the top notch. That is something for me is tier 2 colleges. Tier 3 colleges, something where you'll just get dedicated. Very, very few hands-on experience. Let's not go that way. But still, tier 1, IITs and NITs, because it is the perception, it is the predictability of getting the good talent from that particular college. As such, no grading of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Just the perception for the people.
Okay, I think that's interesting because when we talk about tiers, generally there is an assumption that tier 1 is this, tier 2 is this, tier 3 is this. But I think what you very nicely cleared, there are no particular rules around it. It is how people perceive and how they want to kind of get into the colleges. Great. I think thanks for this. I think that kind of set us the base for the further question. I think second thing I want to understand, and because you have been into the profession for a very long time, right? From your experience, how much does this tier classification really impact a student's placement opportunities compared to today or versus 10 years ago or 5 years ago? How do you think that shift has been there?
You already have answered this question by saying 5 years ago, because you have to see the placements in the two way, pre-COVID and post-COVID. Pre-COVID, for every tier 1 colleges, they are the badshah of placements. We are getting good students. We are average CTCs this, average CTCs that. But because of COVID, so many bad things have happened. But good thing is that accessibility of opportunity to the students. It is something that pre-COVID, everybody was there, IIT jana hai, NIT jana hai, triple IT jana hai. Now you talk about, if I name few companies, they are there in our campus. They are
Yeah.
also there in the IITs and NITs. So for me, after COVID, everything has changed. It is just the opportunity is one click away from either the tier 3 student as well. He just need to be a little bit more proactive on the things. He need to be see where exactly things are going on, and he need to do hard work, and that too in the right direction, because hard work only works if it is put in the right direction only.
Well said, well said. I think you are very spot on this. I think I was reading somewhere that while tier one institutes have their own advantages, right? But a majority of talent does come from tier two and tier three, which is beyond the IITs and IIMs and NITs. And I think that is where I'll probably shift my next question to, which is
Hmm.
when we talk about tier one colleges, whether it is IITs, IIMs, NITs, right? The idea here is that they have more exposure. The practicability is much higher there. But I want to understand from you, colleges like you mentioned, let's say JP University or the colleges which are in tier two who are at that par level, right? How do they make sure that they enable their students to stand out during placements? What are the things and the efforts that you guys are doing right now?
It is all about the skill. We companies are hiring for skill. It
Okay.
does not go by brand and anything else. If a student have a good exposure to practical knowledge, they know in and out about front end, back end, and everything which is there in the tech domain. If company are getting these kind of a talent, then definitely companies will go to those kind of a colleges and technicalities. So in talk about my campus, we have introduced because there is a topic called DSA. I'm sure you're
Okay.
completely aware
Yeah.
about it. Data
Yeah.
structure and algorithms. We have introduced
Yes.
data structure and algorithms to our students from very second semester.
Okay.
It is something that let's the students who are there in the first year, second year, let's give them the data structure topic, and then after we are tracking their POTD, problem of the day, whether they are doing the problem of the day. Pick any platform, we cannot name over here, but still if we pick
Yeah.
any platform for the sake of this, so we are monitoring those kind of things. And then after, the third thing that we are doing over here is we are giving them the exposure for the mock kind of a thing. Let's
Okay.
suppose we put them the simulation kind of interview, kind of a simulation, that let's suppose this is the 20-minute of an interview which is happening, and you
Hmm.
need to crack this interview, and that too with the help of AI, where you guys have helped us in a lot tracking those kind of technical interviews for the students, preparing well them from that technical interviews, so that at least the fumble, the technical error which is going to be happen, it happens in the AI interview, not in the real interview.
Okay, nice. So if I have to summarize the whole set, right? So it means that
Hmm.
one, you're trying to give them exposure early rather than waiting for them to go to fourth year and then be like, oh, do this. That is number one. And I think then you're also putting yourself and your institution in a series of forward institutions who are using AI to help them, right? Which is very interesting because I think it's an era of AI. And I personally also feel that institutions and colleges and companies who are not using AI to do the advancement and do the mass scalability setup, right? So I think that's interesting to know. So thanks for
Definitely.
sharing this with us, right?
One more thing I would like to add, one
Yeah.
more thing I would like to add is that AI is not going to take your job.
Yeah.
AI is going to make more millionaires and billionaires in future. In next 5 6 years, it is going to be happen, and you are one of the example of that.
No, I think, see, what we are trying to do is we are trying to just make it much accessible to everybody. And actually,
Mhm.
I think our main goal is that we want to tell students who are on the other side of the gate of the college, right? That the world outside is very different. And I think
It is.
it is very important for institutes to also understand, which I think a lot of institutes, even specifically JP, is doing very nicely, that they are
Mm.
putting that foot forward. They are making sure that they are trying to give simulation to the students so they understand. So I think super important for everybody to make AI a friend rather than thinking, oh, it will take a job.
Definitely, exactly. You're bang.
I think now maybe let's zoom in a bit to the student level, right? You
Mm.
mentioned that you do all these mock interviews. You mentioned that you are trying to give them access early into the age rather than giving them at the fourth year, right? And maybe let's talk about software development itself, which either ways is a core role out there in the market, right? What are the key skills that you think that are allowing a student to stand out when we compare it to a tier one college? So let's say there's a student from tier two from JP and there's another student from tier one. Now, what are the key key skills that you think that would help a student to stand out? And the reason I'm asking you is this because a lot of students will see this, and I think they should understand that how they can be better, or they can be at least at par to the students who belong from tier 1 colleges.
You have put me in a kind of a situation where I can give you an answer just in a one line, but
Okay.
still I explain everything about around it.
Sure.
The one line answer to this question is: do not try to become a tier one college, a tier one college or tier one student as well. If
Nice.
you belong to tier two, you become a kind of a person who is not being replaceable in the organization. So
Okay.
company will get into employed, and you are skilled, you have good projects. I always tell in my introduction to the students that you have to do 500 DSA question and 5 project. If you have done those kind of things, you do not need me. You do not require any training and placement officer. If you have done 5 real-time projects, you solving real problems, plus 500 DSA question, nobody is going to stop you. The
Yeah.
only thing which comes after that is that how you're going to present yourself in the interview room, because you talk about every packages which is coming to the college.
Yeah.
Student is same, teacher is same,
Yeah.
college is same, company is same, but then after there is a difference. One student got 20 LPA, another got 10 LPA. It is something that mock interview, how the student have presented themselves in the interview. It is because of that particular difference. Otherwise, if a student who want to compete with tier one campuses, it is because they've already competed first when they were preparing for JEE examination. If I take you back from that particular route,
Yeah.
tier one college students have cracked that JEE examination. The tier two students were not able to cross the line that particular time. So if they want to cross that particular line, so they need to work hard as much as possible. Start from the day one when they enter in the college and build projects, get connect with people over LinkedIn, and then try to search the SD profiles of the people who is there on the internet. Go to their GitHub profile and then see what kind of a project they have done.
Okay, understand. I think that's very interesting. And what you mentioned is kind of what I wanted to ask in the next question actually. Because first question was that how do they feel that they are not, which you very rightly said, don't try to be tier 1, stay at tier 2 and try to add more value to that. I
More.
think see you interact with, I would assume, thousands of students every year, right? And you have been into this whole setup for a longer period of time. So nobody better than you would understand what are the key things that a student comes and asks. What are the key questions do you feel a student comes to you when they are in their fourth year before the placements, that thinks that okay, this is a repetitive question that I'm seeing every year, but students are still stuck there? What are those questions that, or the challenges that you hear from the student today?
To be honest, student used to come, sir, अगली company कौन सी आ रही है?
Okay, that's nice.
This is something a common question. Every students come to me and say, "Sir, बताइए अगली company कौन सी आ रही है?" So I have to tell them, you prepare yourself in a way that you do not need to ask this question. You just
Yeah.
give me a kind of a confidence. Sir,
Yeah.
bring any XYZ company. We are ready to
Yeah.
go for those OA tests, technical interviews, a lot of a process which is happening in the recruitment space. It is a kind of a problem which comes up to me on a regular basis, is that students have not practiced themselves enough.
Mm.
Reason why I'm telling this thing, because students are not able to clear the online test most of the
Yes.
time. If 200 students is sitting, only 50, 40, 30 students are able to clear the online test. It is
Okay.
only because of they have not practiced themselves. They think
Mm.
they have cleared around 12 test cases for any XYZ question, and they think whenever any kind of a interview will come, we'll be able to speed up the things on that particular day. It's not going to be happen. So every time students come to me and said, "It's sir, OA clear nahi ho raha hai, not able to clear the OA." So for that particular thing, student need to have to practice kind of a zone. I tell my students in a way, 9 to 5 you have class, every student have class, 5 to 6 you do whatever you want to do, fresh and
Yeah.
have whether want to take a rest, you go for it. From 6 to 8 sit in the library, whether
Okay.
you are sleeping over there, you are doing nothing, kuch bhi karo, but you just make sure you sit in the library. If you
Okay.
sit in the library for a 2 hours, उसका environment देख के you will definitely have a zeal. Okay, मैं थोड़ा कुछ किताब पढ़ लेता, I'll see
Yeah.
into it. And then
Yeah.
after, you might have experience in JUIT, we have Mall Road,
Yeah.
where students usually used to roam around after. We will definitely take a
It's a
walk.
tradition. It's a tradition there.
Yes, it's a tradition. So I have given a time for that as well. 8 to 10, do whatever you want to do on the Mall Road. Be with friends and have chill chat, everything. And
Yeah.
then after 10 to 12, build a project. 6
Nice.
to 8, you do competitive programming. 12, 10 to 12, you build a kind of a project so that at least you will be able to present that particular project in your resume. So this is the day routine that I usually tell my students over here, and that is going to be solve their problem, which usually comes to them in a way that OA is not able, कि OA clear नहीं हो रहा है. So the
I get it.
major challenge with the students right now is they have not practiced themselves, and
Hmm.
because of that they are not able to clear the OA. And second part to this question is that students used to come to me and say, sir मेरा टेस्ट तो बहुत अच्छा गया था सर, उसका उसका उसने को तो टेस्ट केस भी कम पास किए थे, मैंने टेस्ट केस ज्यादा पास किए थे, वो सेलेक्ट हो गया, मैं रिजेक्ट हो गया, व्हाट इज द रीजन? सो आई हैव टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन, बट आई आंसर इट डिप्लोमेटिकली इन अ वे कि बेटा टेस्ट सबका अच्छा होता है बस रिजल्ट खराब होता है.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Yeah.
There are things that students do not understand at this particular time, but the
Haan ji.
only thing they have to understand is you have to practice. You have to practice. Without practice, you will not be able to sit for 20-30 minutes in the technical interview.
Great. I really like how you have even walked through the whole day journey for them, because this is called we are doing an employability playbook, right? So maybe let's do a quick thing, sir. Let's give 5 tips. I want you to give 5 tips to students, right? 5 tips for students for getting higher chances of qualifying any placements. We'll go with 5 tips. So tip number 1.
It starts with from the day one when you enter in the engineering college. That's a foundation year. I'll start with year 1. In first year, you complete your basics. OOPS, fundamental DBMS, whatever is there in the technical space, you learn those things. And then in second year, the tip number 2 is you need to build your projects. Whether you are building any kind of a software which reflects, which converts this to that, that to this, at least a project should be there. You have to done in second year. And in third year, apply for internship. And then student come to me, sir, LinkedIn पे इतनी जगह पे apply कर दिया है, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, कहीं से कोई response नहीं आ रहा है. I ask them, आपने कितनी mails करी है, कितने LinkedIn message करे? सर 5, 10, 6, 10 या फिर 50 के आसपास कोई ज्यादा चला जाएगा. But I tell them the sales conversion for your resume would be 1%, even less than 1%. So you have to get a 5 interview calls, you have to send at least 500 mails or resume. So that is tip number 3, that in third year you should go for the internship. And the fourth year, when companies are there, become like a horse, wear those hats and sit for any XYZ company, and do not think about it in a way if I got selected in that, I have to go there, I have to go there. Because students have a kind of a mindset where they say, okay sir, ये तो पुणे की company, I do not want to sit for this क्योंकि मुझे तो North India में रहना है. They are assuming themselves that they are selected by the company. Even 6-7 rounds are there. And I guess tip number 5 that I'll tell students is practice and practice. And additionally, I would like to say you need to buckle up your LinkedIn game, because I usually bonus tip you can say, but I usually tell in Hindi to the students that दिखोगे तभी बिकोगे.
No, I think that's good. I think people who are watching this, I think this is a very concise and important playbook, starting from year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, and how you basically put yourself out. So great. I think you have got a cheat code to do things out there.
Exactly. So I have a little bit smaller cheat code as well. Project leads you to the internship, and internship leads you to the placements. So you need to focus on your project. If you are in a final year as well, you need to focus. If you are not able to crack the any XYZ company, if still in the final year, because already 50% students have been placed, 50% campus placement season has been gone by this particular time. If you are in final year and not are getting selected, you need to work on your basics, which is your projects. And then after projects, definitely you're not going to go for the internship, but because of those projects, you will be able to crack the interviews, final placement interviews.
Great. I think one point that you raised very nicely, and maybe I want to help from our side particularly, is when students say early in their third year or fourth year they do not have projects. I think if anybody is seeing this and they feel they do not have any projects, please write to us. You can reach out to our LinkedIn or to our team anywhere on LinkedIn or on our website. We have a lot of projects which we are trying to work with companies, the startup ecosystems, and the goal is, as you mentioned, Pankaj sir, like to give them an exposure early to the job placement, so they have some hands-on experience, and to train them before actually they go out. So if anybody who wants this help, feel free to reach out to us, and I think this is something that we can at least do for them. So great. Okay, moving on. I think from your interaction, because one part of your role is to interact with students, and I think that is the majority. But also, I believe a lot of time is going out to look for recruiters and also to talk with the recruiters, right? How do you think the expectations from fresh graduates in terms of hiring, right, that has changed? And again, I'll not go 10 years back, I'll go pre-COVID and post-COVID maybe, because the generation has also
Mhm.
changed and the era has also changed. So what do you think that the overall expectation, how has that changed for recruiters when they are hiring any freshers right now?
From the recruiter point of view, the kind of a conversation I do have with people, they
Okay.
want students to be employable from the day one. That is
Yeah.
the new benchmark. They
Okay.
do not going to put you on the bench. This is
Hmm.
the new benchmark. From the day one, you have to produce results. You have to get into the business. You have to understand how things are working, how all other kind of a parameters are working in the organization. So you have to become employable, not employable. You have to become productive from the day one. And
Productive.
for that particular thing, I'm not sure whether you are aware about it. There are a hell lot of colleges who are a hell lot of you can say organizations who are opting for internships. Initially it was for the 6 months of internship, now it is for 1 year internship, that
Hmm.
the students who are graduating, their seventh and eighth semester will be with the company, because within a span of a 1 year, organization will be able to access the kind of a student, whether they are good or whether they are not. And to your surprise, it was we started this thing 2 year back.
Okay.
Initially, we had only 13 students who went for 1 year internship. This year, the number is 53. That
Okay.
53 students have gone for 1 year internship. And now for next 2027, when this 2027 batch comes up, I am planning to put my 100 plus students for a 1 year internship.
Oh, nice. Great.
Because of that, it is because of the trust the recruiters have put in us, that students are good and we want to hold them as early as possible.
Hmm.
So that is the recruiter perspective. In terms of, the very first thing is they should be employable, they should be trained in a way that we can get a good amount of a, you can say, work from those students, and then after, for a longer period of a time, they can stick with the students. Because these days this job hopping and everything is there in the market. Every
Hmm. Hmm.
6 months and 1 year, students are looking for a job change. So that is something company want to reduce. And being as an institute which has a reputation of delivering a good quality students, so we are completely open for all the recruiters as well, giving the feedback. Even we started this only because of the feedback received from the industry, because 6 months
Okay.
is something students only able to understand the process of the
True. True.
organization, कि अगर आपको किसी चीज का काम है तो आपको एचआर के पास जाना है या अपने मैनेजर के पास जाना है, तो वो
Hmm.
6 महीने उसमें ही चले जाते हैं. So 1 year is something where students is able to deliver the result, and we are able to market that by within 3 months you have done this, next three this, next three this, next three this. So recruiters
Nice.
point of view, they want employable students
Hmm.
from the day one.
Nice. So it also tells me that institutes like JP, for example, JP University, right? They're also putting themselves out there and forward thinking, right? It's not that they want to stick in the traditional ways, because I'm not sure how many institutions are more comfortable in, changing the ways, because change is not easy always. But
Mm.
this tells me that you guys are putting a lot of effort, a lot of thought on this, that how we can make sure that you guys also change as a traditional institute to a modern institution, which I think JP is doing exceptionally well. And I'm very sure that the results are also, kind of representing that. So very good on that part. Very happy to hear it.
Thank you, thank you. And then you being as alumni, you will be a little bit of a jealous why it not started back that particular
Actually,
time.
I think this was the conversation that I think I left the college in 2017 and I think you joined in 2018. So
18,
when we were
18.
there, it was a blank slate for us. All we used to get is some emails out there that this is happening and that is it. But I think that is where I was coming to the next point, that while we have talked about students, universities, as well as the recruiters, but individually coming to you and individually coming to the responsibility that you hold, because I think you sit in a very hot seat, right? Because you are basically in a way making the future of the student, and it is not easy. And you cannot be grumpy, you cannot be angry, because a lot of students would come to you with a lot of hope. Some of them would come with a lot of frustration. Some of them them would come with a hope. And I personally, till the time I have known you, right, I've seen your LinkedIn and I've noticed a lot of things that a lot of times you are very empathetic with the students, right? But at the same time, you're always motivating them, which makes me very happy, because then if I was a student and as a faculty somebody is doing that, I think that gives me a sigh of relief that okay, there is somebody for me. So how do you manage that part? And I think secondly is, how do you manage yourself in a way where you want to also be updated in the age of AI, you also want to be updated in the age of technology, but also you have to manage the expectations of the let's say the university, the students, the recruiters. So how do you balance it out?
You have said it that I am in the hot seat. I am not exactly in the hot seat. I'm the punch bag from the academic side and from the industry side. That
Yeah.
they are said get good companies for us, and then corporate
Yeah.
is saying we want good quality students for us. And this is how, because I am acting as a bridge between the academic and industry. So
Yeah.
it feels great when I started in 2014 this placement journey. It feels okay, I'm doing something, I'm changing, my actions are changing somebody's future, and I have to get into the good number of calls every day, follow up whatever things are there. So I personally, if you tell me, this is something which give me a relief, that when I got a call from a parents
Yeah.
specifically
Okay.
that sir, student got the offer letter and he's joining from the tomorrow, thank you so
Nice.
much for your help. So this is something which kicks me every day. And also the kind of a pat on my back from the management side, which is always there, and the recruiters which usually appreciate, okay, we want day one from Jaypee because we have a good student from Jaypee. So that gives me a kind of a feeling I have to give my best. I cannot lose up on a things very easily. Okay, companies aa jayengi, sare kaam ho jayenge, because we have a good number of recruiters coming to our campuses. And for that, I can put it in a way that I can completely sit and just coordinate the process.
Yeah.
But this is something that will put me 5 years down the line, because if I have opted this kind of a activity, this kind of a attitude, I and my students and my university definitely going to suffer in the longer run. So I want to be forefront of a placements for all the students. I'm sure you might have read my recent post about, because there are companies who's going to hire from the university, from they keep on sharing the JD with me, that this is the CTC, this is the stipend that we are looking forward. I have to go through in a way that I ask myself three questions over there. If I am at the student position, will I apply for this? Will this a good starting point for my career? And is the CTC stipend and location is good as per the fresher who's going to take this opportunity? If I got the 3 years in a row, then definitely I'll circulate that job description to the students to apply for. So this is the level of filtering that I used to do to start a student career with a very good XYZ company. Though there are few things that I'll be not able to achieve my target. Definitely it's going to be happen, because we are promising quality, not quantity. So no problem. Because of that, the management is there. They keep on tapping my back. You go ahead, please do it. No problem in that. Whatever numbers we are achieving, but it should be a quality numbers that should reflect at the end of the day.
Nice. So I think to the students of JP who are watching this, I think don't make Pankaj sir a punch bag, but rather a supporting system, because I've personally
Uh,
seen. But I think this is great, Pankaj sir. This conversation has been nice. Before I close, right? I think we have talked about the tips, right? We have talked about universities, but what is that one key action that you want students to do? And I, because now the placement season is again hot, right? The final year is getting placed, right? So what is that
yes.
one thing that you want to leave students with who are entering into the placement season, which they can do into the next 3 to 6 months, that will really help them? What is that one advice that you would like to give?
I would like to say two words
Sure.
only. It is change your habit and practice as much as possible. You
Right.
need to practice those questions. You need to practice those how to pass the test case, how that logic is going to be built within that stimulated time. जो आपको टाइम दिया हो तो उसमें 24 मिनट के अंदर आपको 4 DSA के क्वेश्चन करने हैं. That kind of a framework. Get into the zone. Just get into the zone, because you have an ample amount of a time with you when you
Yeah.
have not studied. Now that time has got shrunken to 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and after you pass out from your college, you are going to be fight with not with JP students, from all around the nationwide students for the jobs. Change your habit, because
Perfect.
you have not got up at the 5 o'clock in the morning, 9 to 5. You have done your classes after 5, after 6 to 8, sit in the library and then go for dinner and then then after build project, get this habit in place, and then you will try to see the results and practice those DSA question, because you'll not be able to see a post which is there in my office. It is DSA and there is a LIC wala sign and it
Okay.
says placement ke saath bhi and placement ke baad bhi.
Nice. That's good one. Nice. Okay. So I think this is great. I think we had some humor, we had some good conversation, and I think this conversation clearly shows that employability in 2026 is less about where you study and more about how intentionally you prepare, right? And I think for everybody out there, it's about how good and how nicely you practice yourself. And I think to the people who are also watching, you can go to our platform also, which is HRFY.ai. That is why we created it. We're trying to build India's smartest AI placement lab, where we're trying to bring students into institutions and companies so they can come, they can practice, and then they can get hired fast. Thank you, Pankaj sir. It has been a great conversation. Thank you. And I think
Thank you.
lovely to again have a chat with you. Always looking forward to have these conversations. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sunpreet ji. Thank you so much.